morning, everybody. I have decided that I'm going to work on this little daily stitching project that I prepped a while ago before I left for Canberra. And I have decided to keep everything, because I'm feeling that way, in greens. I've drawn like a question mark shape. And I'm going to be working from a color palette that is in my starter pack, my green, sorry, it's not the starter pack, it's the evergreen pack, because I know that that color palette is going to work, and I'm just going to keep this quite green in here. Yeah, I'm just feeling it that way. So that is my evergreen pack. And the stitch that I think that I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this quite twiggy, because, you know, I quite like that kind of twig effect. And I'm going to do it whatever's on page, from the flower book, page 59, and I'm going to do K. Alright, so I'm going to do a stem stitch all the way around there, and I'm going to use the eucalypt color. I think that I'm going to go eucalypt, only because, so that's from the green pack. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that. Yes. Okay, so the needle that I'm going to use is a milliner's number 3, and I'm simply going to do a stem stitch. And I'm not going to make the stem stitch too small. I'm going to do more of a staggered stem, I think, than anything else. Oh, guts, came out my hoop. Let's just pop it back in and tighten it up. The shadows are quite bad this morning, but the light is beautiful. One of the reasons why I love working outside is because of the light, also the birds and everything else. So in fact, I just love to be outside majority of the time. So I'm just going to bomb along and do my stem stitch. Yep, nice and easy. See, my stem stitch is actually not too small, and my tension of my thread is to my left, not there first. I'll tell you what I don't do is I don't do this first where I flick it over. I get it sort of laid down flat to my left first. Let's just lose this. This is driving me a bit insane. It's all the lace that I actually cannot get this nice and tight. Come on, Jennifer, do a better job than that. I might actually switch this off, and I'll see you when I have done the whole thing. See you now. Okay, I'm back. I've changed positions also, so maybe that beautiful light that I was just so enjoying won't be so distracting. All right, the next step in our little stitch is to give us the little twigs that we then add our leaves to. So all I'm going to do is, I'm just going to do a straight stitch and then an elbow. You know, one of my favorite things to do. So if we do that, nice and long. Long is always better whenever you're adding anything, and I really encourage you to make them nice and long. And I'm just going to bomb along. This one here, let's give her a little extra one here. I'm not making them even or the same. This needle feels a little bit blunt to me. I change my needles actually very often, you know, because they kind of get dull, don't they? Right, let's get some more thread on here. Thread. Not. I think you need another one in there as well. Let's give you another one here as well. You'll notice that I'm coming from out onto my stem and not, you know, I just find that it's, for me, dimensionally, it works that way much better. And also, I'm smoothing it down. Whenever I'm coming into an area where there's lots of threads, I always go down into that area rather than coming out from there, if that makes sense. It just helps with the tension of the thread. And dimensionally, I find it very handy to do it that way. There we go. We're nearly getting there. Just going to grab that one there. Oh, it's starting to look good. I'm also running out of thread. Excellent. It's amazing how much thread you go through. There you go. I think this is one of the last times I'll be threading up. Once again, the weather is really beautiful. Oh, gats. Galabatadas. The variegation is kicking in here. It's very different. I'm not a big fan of variegated threads. You know, those when there's a big strong variegation, I'm not a fan of that. I just think it detracts from a shape of something. It gets too busy. I think the kind of embroidery that I do, variegated threads doesn't really lend itself very well to my style. Okay, nearly coming to the end. From the next step of this little thing is when I add my silk ribbon. And I'm going to be using a 4mm silk ribbon for that. You can use 7mm if you want to, but I think that I might just keep mine to a 4mm. There you go. End this one off. One more, Jennifer. And then I need some silk ribbon, which I haven't pressed. So I'm going to switch my camera off and go inside and press my ribbon, and then I can on the side, and then we're good to go, I reckon. What do you think? Let's put this one up here, the elbow here, and I think this one needs to have another one over here. What do you think? Yep, because remember I'm adding some silk ribbon to this, so I can't have it too full, otherwise it's going to be by a bit. Yeah, so that I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to go inside and I'm going to press my 4mm silk ribbon. That looks a little light, but anyway, I'll see how I go. So I'll see you in a minute. I'm back. So I'm using 4mm silk ribbon, which I have pressed, and remember, because I'm using a silk ribbon, I have to use a chenille number 22 needle. And when you're working with silk ribbon, you thread your needle, you go back into the tip of your silk ribbon, you pull through, form a circle there and there. I wonder if I take this down. There you go. So I'm going to start. Okay, it's quite dark here. So I'm going to pull her through. I'm going to sort of open up her bottom like that, and then I'm going to reinsert my needle in the middle of the silk ribbon. Now you don't want to make these ribbon stitches too long. Ribbon stitches don't like to be too long, so try and keep them quite nice and short. Okay, that's my tip for you. Now remember, if you have remember the book, which I'll go and get now. So I'm going to pull her out, lie her flat, go into her, give her a little bit of a tug, gently with spider fingers from behind, pull through until it gets to a little bit of a point. Now on this, there are a lot of these leaves. I'll get the book now and I'll show you. There you go. I'll do another coming over here now. I'm leaving that because I'm thinking I'm going to maybe put a bead there or something cute. Now, this ribbon is too long, but I just thought instead of wasting time threading it up all the time, I will just make it nice and long. Saves on. That's a different kind of bird sound. Not that, that's a crow. Just make sure, you see, the longer your silk ribbon you have, the more it's going to give you hassles, because if there's a crease in it, it's going to get a memory, and it's going to keep creasing on that one little point all the time. Not on a point, but you know what I'm saying. This has got a crease in the middle of this ribbon. I did press it, but it's just remembering where it is. There you go. I think I'm going to give you a little blossom, a leaf at the bottom. Yes. Ambulance. And before you know it, it's starting to look from very sticky you know, all twiggy. It's starting to look good, except this ribbon is giving me hassles. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do one, pull her through, pretend she's not there, and then go over her. That might sort this ribbon out. There is a crease in this ribbon, and it's remembering it every single time it goes through. There you go. I'm going to be the boss of it. There you go. Let's put one here at the end. Let me just reach over and get my book, and I'll show you what we're doing step by step. Where the twigs, there. So you can see some of them have actually got little beads on them. So that's where I'm at the point where I'm putting the leaves on, okay? But not every single one has to have a leaf. There you go. All right. I'm going to love and leave you because you don't need to watch me do 50 million little leaves. And I'll see you in a while. All right, so I'm back. Now, remember, this one here that is in my book, page 59, the K, there are tiny little beads there. However, you know, today I'm a little bit lazy and I really don't feel like going to go and fossick through beads. So I'm going to use a thread. I'm either going to use a colonial knot or a French knot, depending. As you know, a Frenchie has only 1 wrap or 2 wraps or 3 wraps. You can change the size of a Frenchie, but a colonial knot can only be wrapped that figure of 8. I'm going to see which looks best, either a colonial knot or a Frenchie, and I think I'm just going to do 3 French knots. So I'll do 1, 2. So I'll just form a little triangle of knots on some of them. I'm not really sure what I'm going to be, you know, as I go along. I'll determine what I think needs to be done. Yep. On the side over here. I think I'll put 3 on this side as well. Well, thank you everybody for your lovely comments, wishing me well and welcoming me back to the fold. Thank you. That was very lovely of you all. It's good to be back. Now here, for example, I might just put 1. Yes. What shall I do here, peeps? I think I'm only going to do 1 here as well, because there's a whole conglomeration over there that's going to have some knots on, and it might be a bit too much. What did I do there, Frenchie or a colonial? Can't remember. Somebody asked me what kind of bird that is that they can hear. The very loud ones that are very raucous are crows, which I find fascinating and I find so funny. Although my husband, as you know, is not a fan. They're such intelligent birds. There you go. So yes, I could have actually used a bit of bling in here, However, as I said, I'm not feeling I don't feel like going to go look for them. And this is working out very well. They look like little red berries. So I'm happy. Now, you don't need to spend your time watching me do a whole stash of Frenchies. So I will come back to you when this is finished. See you now. So there we have it. We have the little, I just want to get rid of the blue marker quickly, and it's done. So let me just go in a bit close if I can. As I said, I just if I'm using a blue marker pen, I get rid of the pen as soon as possible, and I use a cotton bud with quite a lot of water actually. Why I use a cotton bud is that the cotton bud holds a lot of water, but I can only wet a small area, if that makes sense to you. Okay, so there we have it. Let's recap what I used. I used the flower book, and I went to page 59, and I did K. So on K, the twig itself was a stem stitch, and I used a ribbon stitch for the leaves and a straight stitch for the little twiggy things. And the book says beads. However, as you know, I used French knots. The thread that I used for the stem was a pearl number 8, which you could have used 3 strands of DMC or stranded cotton. I used it from my green pack, and 4mm silk green ribbon for your leaves. And if you don't have silk ribbon, just you make a lazy daisy using your DMC stranded cotton. And then after that, I used a French knot, and once again I used the pearl number 8. So there you go. I don't know what's going to happen after this. As you know, I'm a bit like Scarlett O'Hara. I'll think about it tomorrow or whenever I need to do something else on here. So once again, thank you so much for your time and for your really lovely, lovely, lovely comments. See you soon. Bye. Bye for now.